All right. So I have some potentially really good news when it comes to the future of PWE Warehouse. When it comes to our far, far future, not next week, not next month, maybe later this year, potentially. But when it comes to the future, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, we're going to be talking about something today that is a result of a really good conversation that was had today on the 24th. I think I have videos scheduled out until like March 1st already for you guys. So it's either going to be a second video and it'll release before then, or this will release somewhere around there. Um, so we're on the blowout pre orders just because I didn't know really what to look at while we're having our conversation here. But I don't know if I have talked about it yet on the channel here, but I have made a TikTok about this. And I don't know, I don't think any of this was set in stone when I made the Patreon video talking about the Patreon. I do want to say this is not a FOMO tactic to get you to go sign up to our Patreon. I'm not even going to put the link in the video. I'm not going to put it up on the screen, nothing. This is not some kind of FOMO tactic. This is genuinely something that is going on right now, and it just happens to line up with the Patreon. So, had some conversations today. It was me, it was one of my business associates, and it was my buddy who owns a shop. And all three of us were talking, and my business associate, I talked about this a little bit on TikTok. This is who I buy all my storage units from. He'll buy entire houses of cards, full collections, buy every single thing, and I typically get left with the bulk leftover stuff. And the stuff that is all $20 and under, that's the stuff I get left with. And I do well on it. I definitely do well on it, and it's been a very good business relationship. He's also very close with my buddy who owns this card shop. So we were talking, and my business associate, or acquaintance, I don't think associate's the right word, in association with, I don't know how you want to word it, but my business acquaintance, um, he has been researching breaks pretty heavy. He's spent now like 3 full days just watching breaks and learning about it and seeing the finances behind it. And he is very wealthy, to a point that my brain cannot fathom the amounts. Sets up multiple tables at the National, and I'm not going to say anything more than that because it's not my right to. But I'm trying to help you understand that this is a person that can afford doing some of these things. Um, so we were talking, and all three of us were in agreement that we need to start doing breaks. And I said, listen, I'm completely in. I can help do some breaks. I can help be a breaker. As long as I'm getting paid, obviously. But I was like, I can help with doing some of the breaks. I can do all the F1 breaks. I can do soccer breaks. I can do baseball breaks. Probably want to stay away from like WWE. I can do football. Probably want to stay away from basketball for the most part. I know the names, but I don't know like the in depths. But I was like, I can be a breaker for you, but at the same time, I want to contribute to spend. I definitely want to, if we have distribution and everything, I want to contribute to spend. I want product. And we'll see how it turns out. He knows a lot of people. I don't want to say too much, but I said to him, I said, with all the people it should be 2 seconds to get Fanatics Direct. And he said, you are absolutely correct. It would be no problem getting in touch with Fanatics and getting product. The problem would be is going by all of the rules and stipulations they have with doing other stuff, being a part of Fanatics Direct. So, we're still working out the kinks and everything, but it's most likely going to happen. And I already told my girl today. I was like, listen, if this does happen and I am a part of this, like I want to be a part of this, and I said straight up, I have absolutely, I'm not entitled to anything. I could literally just maybe help out with breaks or just be a spectator or not be involved at all. I have no right to be involved, and I am not entitled to anything. So I just think, based on the previous business relationship with both of these individuals, that I would be a little more involved than the average Joe. But like I said, the end of the day, I am not entitled to anything, and very well, I could be completely left out of it and not see anything from it. But what I do want to make clear is if I am involved in any way, shape, or form, we will take this business to the next level. 100% we will take this business to the next level. Um, and when it comes to, potentially it could get to a point where, let's say we're getting Star Wars stuff. This is probably stuff that we break, right? This is stuff that I'm going to be like, nah, I don't really want any of that. Let's break it. Let's get breaks up. And if I'm going to be picky like that, that's a thing where it's like, yeah, I'll break it for you. Like, I'll do it. Just pay me like 25 an hour. Let's get the breaks going. I'll 100% break it for you for 25 bucks an hour. And if they order a case of Bundesliga, now this is too close. Like, this stuff's already out of the order date. It's already out of the window. And this is just if we get Fanatics Direct. I'm not talking any other distribution like Peach State, GTS, Southern, anybody. So like if they would get a case of Bundesliga in, this isn't really gonna sell. I mean, I could probably sell a little bit of it for personals if I was, up there talking about it and being like, yeah, you can hit who would you be able to hit out of Bundesliga? Is Lewandowski even still in the Bundesliga? Thomas Muller, if he's still in there. Obviously Holland's gone. Jude Bellingham maybe. See, I know a little bit enough, and it's like, come on, chat, we gotta, let's chase Bellingham. This case has been cold, something like that, right? I've done breaks before for this business, and it's really not for me. But if I gotta put my foot down and I gotta get the shit done, and I gotta make the right call for my future and my family in this business, like I'll sit there and do a fucking break for 25 an hour. I do not care. So it's one of those things where if even the shitty product, it's something like, okay, we can't sell this in a break, and they want to get it off the books, I'll be like, okay, give it to me for either cost or cost plus 5%, something like that, and I'll take it off your hands. That is where I want to be setting up. I want to make sure that they have cash flow on the shitty products. That is going to then any product that's not moving is going to come to me, and that is where we will sell it by the pack or start selling it to the Patreon. So I don't, like I said, I'm not going to put it up on the screen, not going to be a link, but I might start to mention it because of that obviously. But I'm trying to look for more Tops products here, and this is still in the April range. This is still way too close, and they're probably not going to have anything else a little bit past this. Let's see, anything Tops. I'm not really seeing anything, to be honest with you. Yeah, all this stuff is, Upper Deck or Panini. So, um, but yeah, my buddy was, or my business acquaintance, he was like, to start, we need to do things right. Everything we need to do it right. We need to have good giveaways. We need to have a good setup, a good studio, good breakers, good product, good prices, everything. And he's like, I would expect to be making $1,000 a day starting up, and then if we really want to break some high-end stuff and really start stocking product up and getting some back stock going, we should be making, with the highest end breaks, especially if we have multiple channels going, we should make $1,000 an hour. And I was just sitting there listening to this conversation while I was standing. We were all standing next to each other and in a little circle, and I was standing there and I was like, this could be it, And I made a TikTok the other night. Well, yesterday on the 23rd. I made a TikTok on the 23rd, and basically the TikTok said like, this could be the thing that changes my life. There are some breakers out there, and when I say breakers, I'm talking about the people ripping the boxes for the company. There are some breakers, the active job of breaking, opening the cards, that make $300,000 a year. So, it's one of those things where no matter what, the tide will raise all ships in this situation. If I am getting paid to break, the money will come back into the business that way. If I am getting product by contributing to extra spend for the distributor, I will be bringing new product and cheaper product to you through the eBay. there's almost not a situation where I don't think it will help me. So let me give you an example with Tops. Let's say they order 10 cases and they get all 10 cases. And let's say, the first release week, it starts slowing down and they've only sold through 6 cases. Cost is probably going to be like 80 a box. That's just what I would assume. I don't know actual cost, right? But if I can be like, hey, I'll give you 90 a box, tax free. And right now, from my guy, I got Series 1 for 89 tax exempt, so no tax. But the problem was, I only got 4 boxes. If I can be at $90 cost basis on 4 cases, you know, that's like the amount we bought. We bought like 4.5 cases. So let's just say 48 boxes. My cost basis on what we got in, the majority of it, like the half case that I got at a decent price. The rest was all at like 110 to 115. So, if I'm getting 4 cases, which is 48 boxes at 4,300, I'm going to write this down to give you an example of how much money I'm making just saving on the margin. My price wouldn't necessarily change on something like Flagship. Shittier products, it would give me more room to move down and make things cheaper. Flagship, I like to hold. So in this exact example, right now we're selling Flagship Series 1 hobby packs for $7.50. I would probably keep that price the same even if my cost basis was cheaper, because it sells so quick, and once it's gone, it's gone. Like, I don't get more. So if I'm buying 4 cases at 90 bucks a box, and that's still me paying up because they're still making a profit. The boys are still making a profit, right? But I'm only paying 90 instead of, so let's just say I pay 115 a piece for the 48. That total is 5,520. That is a $1,200 difference right there. So, and that's just one release, and that's a release that does really well. And I'd be willing to take all 4 cases. So that is extra profit. That is already built in. So right now we're making, let me see. All right, so I just checked our margin. We're currently making $1 profit per pack of Top Series 1 baseball. And then on top of that, we are profiting the silver pack, which after fees and after shipping on a silver pack is probably about 20 to 25 bucks. So per box of Top Series 1, I am making about $40, which is $40 to $45 profit, which is pretty much, and that doesn't count for supplies or anything like that either, or taxes that need paid. So, but let's just keep it simple. I'm making about 40 bucks a box. That's what Blowout's making. If I was getting it at the prices, now that's the perceived profit Blowout's making. If I'm getting it at the price that Blowout's actually getting it, I'm making an extra $100 a box. The profit, the difference between the cost basis of what I'm at now, paying 115, all right, and actually, no, wait, I'm not, that's wrong margin. I was basing it off of the $100. What am I making? I'm not making a lot. Hold on a minute. Yeah, I just checked. We are making a quarter, 25 cents, a single quarter on the 115 boxes. So the first 4 to 6 boxes that we sell, I swear I got, what did I get them for? It was, oh no, I lied. I did get a case for, retail MSRP from Tops. So that's 106 a box. So on the 115 boxes, I'm making a quarter a pack. On the ones I got from Tops, I'm probably making like 70 cents a pack plus the silver pack. The silver pack is pure profit. So each box I'm making like between 20 and 40 bucks on. It's still roughly the same margin. But it's not a lot. You get what I'm saying? If I bring my cost the whole way down, especially from that 115, that's an extra $1,200 that I'm saving. I'm not necessarily making it, but I'm saving it. And that 1,200 would go right into another case. So I basically, in that situation, I would be getting 4 cases for the price of 3. And those savings add up. You know, there's 3 major flagship tops releases a year. If I could save $3,600, you can do a lot with 3,600. So I just want to say the future of PWE Warehouse is very bright. And I do want to say if we can get heavily involved in this, um, I am going to promote the Patreon more. Because if I'm going to start having cases of product come in, there's 2 options. No, there's 3 options. 1, sell the product by the box on eBay. 2, sell the product via Patreon, which I think is a lot safer than eBay. Or 3, there is the option to do breaks myself and just not tell them, which I do not want to do. I don't want to do. So, it's one of them things. It's just like there's some crazy opportunity here. Um, you know, I had one chance to really do the breaking thing before, and well, I had 2 chances. I had one when I was doing it myself, and then another chance when I was actually. Well, I almost bought me and my family. We almost bought an entire card shop in like 2023 or 2022, and my I don't want to say exactly, but a family member of mine is now a full-time breaker, and it almost happened that way. Now they're a full-time breaker, but they're just they're not like a full-time company. They're just a full-time breaker. So it's interesting. This will be the first major opportunity where I can definitely see you know this business completely changing with this being in play. Um, there was the potential as well of me potentially moving in the next like year or two if this happens. I've talked about this on our TikTok, but you know if this happens, there's no way I am going to be moving from our current location because I'm going to want to put every last dollar I have into spend with the distro and getting as much product as possible, man. I mean, literally as much as I fucking can afford because I'm not going to get those prices anywhere. I will not get those prices anywhere. So that's that. The future of PWE Warehouse could be really, really good. Um, and I wanted to let you guys know that there could be some really great stuff coming. And even if 4 people watch this, I want you to understand if you made it this far into this, you're an early adopter of this little business we got going. I have been doing this thing for 7 years, full time. Full time, 7 years. And this is the first year, this year and like last year are the first true years that I was like, okay, now we're there. This is something that I don't know if I could have imagined 7 years ago. Now, what I'm thinking where I want to be in 7 more years is something I still cannot fathom, but at least I have a vision now. When I started doing this 7 years ago, it was one of those things like, okay, I see what we're trying to do here. I see how it could work and all this, all that. But when it comes to the actual vision, I don't think I had a vision yet. It's different now. This is a situation where there is something there where I can see the future being incredibly bright when it comes to not only cost of product, but the amount of product being high. So when we're faced with a potential situation in the future where it's like, hey, I need to make sure I can move this product before the next release, I want that Patreon set up. I want to have people that want to be a part of this thing. So I need you to understand if I can go from getting even just tops boxes, from 100 a box down to 90 a box. Your price instantly goes from 125 to 115 shipped. because I'm still making 10 bucks a box on that transaction and you're getting $25 off market. That is the Rudy Patreon in itself right there. So, yeah, man. I just want to say if I can get to a point where I can get a lot of product, and I don't know how much product I will get because, they're going to want a lot of it to break, but it just depends on how involved I'm allowed to be. But it's like if I can offer patrons tops cases, for example, at 115 times 12, 1380. So we have 1380 instead of what does blowout want for them? 140 times 12, 1680. So with me, compared to blowout, you would save $300 per case on Tops Hobby. Like, and not as just one product, man. So keep in mind for the first, and I said I wouldn't really promote it, but I have to at least put this in. Hypothetically speaking, now, like I said, I don't know when this is going to be happening, if it's going to happen. There's so many variables. But if it could happen, and if I could get multiple cases of stuff like this, if you're one of the first 26 patrons on the $10 tier, if I save you $300 on a case of product like this, you just paid for 30 months of the Patreon. Think about that. And if you get that savings before you hit your 30-month mark, which I don't know if you will, but hypothetically, you are technically up on the money you've made. And at the same time, if you're going to be a patron, you're going to ride with me and you're going to invest in me, I know that I can trust you to give me risk-free transactions. You know what I mean? Like, it is a very symbiotic relationship. Like, I don't want to be selling cases of this shit on eBay and just trusting I'm not going to get scammed. Like, if somebody is going to give me their full, info, they're going to pay for a monthly sub, and they're going to fucking, like, if you're going to give me your name and your shipping address and let me publicly verify everything with public records, and it's like, okay, I have your info, send this over via PayPal, friends and family, and I'll get it shipped out right away. It's like, bro, like, it could be a very beautiful relationship with a lot of individuals in the future, and I'm actually really excited for it, man. I really am. I definitely want to do business like that in the future. It just seems like it takes away a lot of the issues that I have right now with selling sealed boxes on eBay. Right now, with people that are attempting to scam on eBay and stuff, eBay's been really good with seller protection. They have understood what is going on in the trading card hobby, and there's not a single person that's got away with something when it comes to sealed product in the last, I don't even know, it's probably been a year. I've won every single case, and that's because I'm willing to go the extra mile. I'll sign affidavits, I'll make police reports, I'll sign IC3s and fill them out. 30-minute IC3 on the FBI website. It's like, dude, I'll do all that shit if it means I'm not getting scammed. I'm not going to have to do any of that if I just have your info. If you're sending it friends and family on PayPal, I'm pretty sure that is a complete risk-free transaction. And if there would be like some chargeback bullshit, anything that I'm selling you like is going to fall under an amount where I can get you for chargeback fraud. So it's just like I feel a lot better about the situation than I normally would under similar circumstances. So that's pretty much where we're at here, man. I'm very excited for the future. I really do think that just everybody involved, it would just be a win. There really wouldn't be a loser in the situation, and I'm not gonna count the people that don't hit a card in a break or something. But the way that it is right now, my associate makes a shit ton of money because he's the one investing the most and buying all the product. He makes a shit ton of money from the breaks. My buddy who owns the shop is going to take the space, build it out, have a studio, have breakers. He is going to get a cut of the final profit. The breakers are going to get paid probably hourly or per stream plus commission, something like that. And then, my buddy who owns the shop and then the associate and hopefully me will have the product available. That is the hardest thing right now, is finding product that is available for a good price. If I know the price, it just really does change a lot of things. Knowing somebody's cost on something gives you a lot more leverage. So I'll just give you a quick example, then we'll wrap up because we're already over 25 minutes. Um, when it comes to like the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy bundles, when I needed extra and my buddy at his shop, he had a bunch, he had on this sticker 105. And it's like, okay, I know he paid $70 for them. So it's like, hey, can I get, you have them at 105. I know you paid 70. Let me get like two of these at $80 and then like another two at 85. That way you can make like 30, $40 on it and we're both happy. And he's like, yeah, it's completely fine. But, he had them stickered at 105. But he knows he's helping me out. I'm helping him out. He can go try and find more for a good price. And I got what I need right away. That is kind of like what I am aiming for. I'm just saying, like, I have no idea who else has their hand in the cookie jar in this situation. But if I had to zoom out for a second and like look at everybody involved, I think my hand is either on the biggest cookie or it's in the jar the furthest. So I do realize that I could get nothing out of this upcoming situation, but I just don't think they would do that to me. I really don't, because I'm willing to contribute to distributor spend that gives them a reason to help me out. And I'm also willing to help with the breaks, which is going to be a big thing for them finding reliable help. So it's gonna be really, really interesting to see like how this actually works out, man. This could change my life, and at the same time, I don't necessarily think that it's something that could change any potential patrons' lives, but I do think it could make some of my potential future patrons some money. I do think that even saving like $300 on a case of tops, like that is some real money we're talking about. $300. You can buy a whole extra jumbo box with that and do whatever you want with that. So that's where we're at, man. And I don't want to go too much deeper with this, but I do know somebody somewhat local to me that has a very, very large YouTube channel for sports cards and runs breaks, that needs product, that has a case guy already, but I might be able to facilitate a little bit of a deal. I would just have to contact him and ask him. But if I could bring that to the table, that's like my backup. That's like my, if I feel like, hey, I'm not going to be included in this, and be like, hey, actually, if you can include me in this, I might be able to potentially sell a lot more product that might be sitting, or if we want to order even more. So I have a couple backup plans. I think I've established myself as a pillar in the operation already. And I'm kind of excited. This could be the thing that changes my life, man. Um, and the guy, my business associate, he is the type of guy where if you do good business with him, he treats you right. He will treat you right. And so far, it's been nothing but good. So we'll see how it goes. Future PWE Warehouse could be 10 times brighter than I thought it was just 2 weeks ago. We could potentially almost skip a level. There's levels to it. There's a staircase and then there's an escalator. Out of nowhere, this escalator just appeared in front of my eyes, and we might be going up a little bit faster than if we were walking up the stairs. So I appreciate you guys. If you listen this far into the video, I really do appreciate you. There is a free tier on the Patreon as well, but I don't really know what I'm going to be able to do for that. So if you just wanted to at least lock in the free and just have it send you a reminder or something at some point, you could definitely do that. But yeah, So we're going to end it. So I appreciate you, and I will hopefully talk to you soon with more good news about this.